All right, this video we're going to run through what Notion is, kind of how it works, and kind of give a few tools to think about kind of what the nouns and the verbs are within this system. So the first, when I talk about what Notion is, I usually kind of say it's like Word and Excel got together and had a baby. It's not a great analogy, but it kind of puts you close to the right place. The one key thing to remember with Notion, with its documents though, is that unlike something like Word where you create written documents in it, or Photoshop where you do graphical things, and those are kind of isolated silos where they do that one function and that's kind of what they do. Notion is different in that every Notion document can essentially do everything that any Notion document could do. They're not nearly as specialized. So when we talk about something a database or a document or a reference or whatever, it's kind of like the answer is yes. If there's nothing really special about the different pages. And you'll see how this kind of comes in place when we talk about content pages and database pages and how they're really almost the same thing. Now, just to start off, I've just got a blank workspace here. I've got a document called Home. And if I come here, I can type in stuff. So this is just text. If I hit enter, it goes down, makes a new paragraph, and nothing special going on here. So it says type slash for commands. You can also click on the little action button here, and we have it turn into. This has a bunch of the different types of things that you can do. So we can do text, some different headings. We can create a new subpage. We can do checkbox to-do lists. We can do bullet list, and a lot of these have shortcuts. So for example, if I come in here and do a star, I can then do a list, and if I hit enter, this would continue on. If I do two square brackets like this, we put them right beside each other. This gives us a to-do list. And if I do numbers, this gives me a numbered list. There's also shortcuts. For example, if we put a couple of pound symbols, this does a heading that's at the same kind of depth. So this is the heading 2. If I do 3, this would be a heading 3. And if I come up here and do 1, this will be a heading 1. So you can kind of organize all your content. You can do different bold lists. If we come in here, we can bold things, make it italic. We can make things have links. We can go in here and set their color. So this is your normal standard text editing. Nothing really special going on here. If we want to, we can come in here and make a page. So this would be embedding a subpage into this page. So we'd enter and go, this is my sub page. And if I actually expand this little triangle over here, I now have home. This is my sub page. So pages can be content, but pages are also folders. So this kind of goes back to that same thing, like I said at the beginning, where everything in Notion is the same. A page is a page is also a folder, and I can come in here and I can make another page. This is a sub page, and now I've got a sub page. I can grab this on the side and rearrange it, move it into that top page. I can even pull it all the way out to make this a top level page. I can bring it back down here and kind of treat it like a folder and put it back in. So that all just kind of works as you would expect, just from kind of being a editable content. I can also type an @ symbol and sub. I can now make a link to pages, so I can just go make a link to itself. That's a terrible example. Let's put this to the sub page. So now I can go to the sub page, and I'm back into the sub page. So this is your basic content work. There's nothing special really here that's mind-blowing compared to other editors, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. If I select these things, I can also kind of then start working on the layout, so I could put it beside it and make it into columns. So you can get into here and do a lot of tweaking and customizing, and do different layouts of how you want to present your information. And this is a great way to make dashboards and shortcuts, documentation, all those types of things. One of the other things you can do is create tables of information. So if I come into, for example, this subpage, I can come in here and I can make a inline table. So in here I could say maybe this is a project I'm working on. This is tasks. So I can come here and I can say wash the car, especially if I can type. I can say take out the trash, and I don't know, wash the dog. And kind of like you would have with Excel, you have your columns here of information. So I can maybe put in here due when it's when this task is due. So this isn't text. I can actually say what type of information is in here. So I can say this is a date. I can say I got to wash the car. It's due. We're going on Saturday. Taking out the trash. That is next Monday. And washing the dog. I want to do that on Wednesday. Now, because this is a table with organized information, I can then take advantage of some great features with this. So if I go into the menu here, I can sort this, and I can say I want to sort by the due date, ascending. So this is now sorted, and when I add new things, it'll go right in the correct order. We can also click on the plus, add more fields, and do whatever we want with this. Now, going back to the very beginning, I said that everything in Notion is kind of the same. So if I go to wash a dog, I can open this. And this is a page. I can go in here and write my notes. For this, it's probably silly because it's just washing the dog, but if this was actually a work task, for example, I could flesh this out with all the information needed to know about maybe some documentation or reference materials, website links, etc. You can also see at the top of this page that we've got those properties that came from the database. So the tags and when it's due. These can be reordered if we wanted to, and we can kind of take care of those things. Take care of how those are presented. We can also hide some things, add additional properties. We have lots of flexibility there. But just to avoid going down into the weeds, we're going to keep this a little bit high level. So this really is the core functional part of what Notion is. We have documents that can have written content, properties with them if they're part of a table, and we can kind of work with organize all that information. Hopping back out here for a sec, if we go to this tasks, we can let me see where turn this into a page. So now we have a tasks page where all it is that document, that database. I can grab this and maybe pull it out and make it a top level thing. But then we can do some interesting stuff with this, and this will be kind of the last example. So if I come in here, I can make create a linked database. So in here, I'm going to link to the tasks. Now we have these tasks here. But I can say, for example, to filter this to only show me where the due date is before 1 week from now. So now if we hop back and forth from the tasks, these are still all in here, but November 1st is less than or more than a week away. If I go back to the home page here, we can see that this is not in here. We can also do custom filtering on this, so we could, or sorting rather, so we could say sort this by name. So we have all that flexibility in the options. We can also change how this is viewed. So we could maybe say this makes more sense to put on a calendar. And if we did that, we might want to also make the page be full width. So now I can see on the calendar that I've got to wash the dog on the 27th and wash the car on the 30th. So this gives you, we're basically looking at the exact same data, but we're viewing it in different ways. We're doing it on a calendar view or a table view. We also can do other ones like a Kanban board. We put onto a timeline, so this would be like a Gantt chart. Just doing a list, and I actually particularly like the lists for mobile devices. It works really well. If there's a lot of graphical elements, we can do a gallery. So there are a lot of different ways of looking at the same information. And really, this is Notion in a nutshell. You have pages of content, databases of information, and you can then build it out and structure however you want. And that is where the trick becomes. The trick comes in for creating a Notion system that works well for you. It's incredibly flexible, but with that flexibility, it can be a little bit complicated. But that's the core of Notion. You have documents, and you can have properties that are from a database, build relationships, and put all your information in there.